Okay, we are back in the section of team, and now I will cover team. We are here, team, and here team, and we have two workers. And now I will cover this. Well, this is to resend the email that we already saw this in the previous video. Sorry. Change settings. This pack is really dense. We click here. Okay, these are all the settings that we have for this worker. I will try to make it all in a whole video. But take a coffee because it's a bit long and and a bit complex. Okay, I will start. To begin with, now we are only changing the settings of a individual worker. As I said in the previous video or the other one, I don't remember. If we click here, and this will be done for all those workers selected. Right, if I click 2 and I click here, these settings will be for those two workers. I will go now to change only one. I click here and this applies only for this worker, which name is edited. Okay, so first of all, there are 3 buttons. The first buttons refer to what this worker will be able to see on the website. The first row, category, blocked, worker, manager view, manager edit. Take into consideration that normally every section has its own explanation, and you should be able to understand because it's a bit long. Okay, but basically, if we set him blocked, this worker, if he tries to get inside the website, not in the program, in the Worktocloud Desktop or Worktocloud stuff, he still can get in. But if he wants to see what you see, he will be blocked. Basically, he will get a message that you are blocked, you cannot access, so he cannot see his own information. If you set him as worker, he will be able to get inside, and he will only see his data, his personal data, only his records. You see, basically, he can see himself. If you set him as manager view, you can see that now this section allows you to click on top. When you click, you can set which workers he can see. Okay, so for example, let's say he's like the manager and he can see himself and he can see Jose. Okay, we click like this, so he can view, for example, in weekly, he can view office, he can view schedule, well, whatever we set here below. But he will be able to view himself and Jose. And if we click manager edit, he will be able to view and edit some fields. For example, he will be able to assign them to projects. He will be able to edit their own settings. He has write permits also. Okay, basically, if you don't want them to, if you only want them to view something, here. If you want them also to give them really big access to edit projects, create projects, delete projects, assign them to projects, edit their own fields as we are doing now, then you can set them like this. Okay, we go below available sections for this user. These are the options of the menu that we allow him to see. Okay, this means that if I leave, for example, if I leave it like this and I click save, when he goes to the menu, there will be none of these options available to click, and he will not be able to access. So you have total power of what this user, which options of the menu he can see or not. Okay, for example, you want him only to view, I don't know, the dashboard. Okay, then you should leave it like this and click save. And like this, he would view dashboard of himself and Jose. Okay, it's understood. We continue, and then can see. This is from the office, and from a few other sections where he can see. You decide if he can see the screenshots or not. The activity registries, which is that thing of the programs which he has on focus, the processes, the system data, the geolocation, or the history calls. Basically, you have total control of what this user can see and not. Right. This is we get to the end of this section. Now we go to the Worktocloud Desktop and stuff. This refers to the program that he installs, the Worktocloud Desktop program, right? The one that he installs on his computer, and the one that he uses to track activity, and the one that he installs on his phone. There are videos more detailed about these programs in the section of configuration if you want more the information, you go settings, you go here, okay, and you click here and in this question mark, and you will see more information of the Worktocloud Desktop programs and stuff. Desktop is for the computer and stuff is for the phone. Okay, where were we? Here, team, and we were here. Okay, in the second option. Right. So here we said what we want, that the Worktocloud Desktop program, here warns you that be careful of what you're touching, because if you don't know what you're touching, better don't do it, because you can make a mess. Okay, that's it. But I'm explaining you, and when this video is over, you should be able to touch these options freely. Okay, screenshots. This will capture screenshots of this worker. Activity registries. Titles of the program that is on focus. Processes. System processes. System data, it's like CPU, RAM, and all of that. Okay, check out that every time I'm reading what appears on the tooltip. IP geolocation, the geolocation of this computer. Take into consideration that it's not very, very precise. It's normally the city or the district. Internet speed. This checks for the internet speed of the worker. It makes like a ping and checks the upload speed and download speed. Performance charts. This is what the program worker, if you want the worker to be able to see his performance, and the gamification is if you want the worker to see his him compared with the rest of workers, comparing his activity. Okay, it's like a league. This is useful to make them more productive and more focused, and it's good as a good reason to install the program, so that they can. It's like just these two things makes them be more focused, and kind of like a game competing to be more active and productive. And hidden mode. Be careful with this. If you go to help, how to put hidden mode, there is a whole video that explains how this works. Because if you allow this, the program disappears and becomes almost like a spy program. If you want this to work, you need to also set the auto start mode, and remember the email and password, okay, and leave the program logged in. If you do this and you click save, that program disappears and becomes like a spy program, okay. Inactivity management. Pause the program when there is inactivity. Yeah, this basically what does is if the worker, for example, there are one registry that there is no activity, no mouse move, no clicks, nothing, the program will stop. And then you can set, if I put 2 registries, this number you have to multiply it by this. So if I put 2 plus multiply 10 minutes, it means that if in 20 minutes there is no movement, no interaction of any kind with the computer will stop. And then if you set this, it means that then when there is again some activity, that the program will again click play. Okay. This is if you are a bit like, for example, if you have workers that tend to stand up and do all the other stuff, and you only want to track very accurately the time that they are on the computer, then you put something like this, and then it will be tracked only the time that they are specifically on the computer. Okay. System suspension management. If it's a laptop, it's advisable that you remove the suspension, right? And you put it like this: screen and suspension sleep mode, never. But in case if it's a laptop and you want to leave it with some time, you should put these minutes here. Okay. Of course, the minutes multiplied by 60. It helps to. So in some Windows there is a scenario where the worker shuts the laptop directly, and the program that tries to get the screenshot gets an error, and in some Windows crashes the program. So if you do like this, you will avoid that scenario. Then insomnia, not add, and personalize. As I said, the ideal scenario is to put it like this, okay? That never suspends, never goes to sleep. But if you can't, for whatever reason, then here you specify what you want us to do with that time, because we can differentiate time that the computer was suspended and not suspended. If you put it like this, the program tries to not allow to avoid these settings. It makes like a trick, puts the program on focus, and then disables that settings, but not in all Windows works. Not in all Windows. But if you put it like this, the program will try to not allow making like some kind of tricks the sleep mode. Not add. Like this, the program will continue working on the background when the computer is in sleep mode, but will not add that time. Will not count it as worked on weekly and many other sections. And this is good because if you have the workers home, sometimes they directly forget to stop the program. They'll close the laptop, and then let's say it's Friday and they forget to stop the program. They close the laptop and they open the laptop again on Monday at 9 o'clock. If you don't set it like this, then it will appear that this worker was working for, I don't know, 3 days, right? And you will see like on weekly, you will see like 80 hours worked, and you will be like, how is possible? Well, because you left it like this, and because the worker forgot to stop the Worktocloud Desktop, and the time was counting, the time that was not suspended. So put it like this, and that time will not be counted. If you leave it like this, this error that I just explained can happen to you, okay? If you leave it like this, that time that the computer was on sleep mode will not be counted. I don't know if I said it the opposite. Anyway, if not added, delete seconds that is in suspension will not be added. If you put it like add, it will be counted. Personalized, you can set this however you want. You can set it however you prefer. And normally I recommend you, this is a good setting, okay? And what this does is when the worker closes the laptop or the computer gets on suspension mode, the program before just 1 second before stops, okay? So this is I think this is how I like to put it normally, because it's anyway, let's be honest, if the computer is in suspension mode, the worker is not working, okay? So except the cases where you want to count that time for whatever reason, this is a good setting. Okay, we go down and automate change of projects. In projects, some projects you can set them as automated change, that they change automatically. And here you set the default project for this person, okay? And there is not any project created, but here you set the project that will default if nothing is set before. If you set to previous, if there is nothing set before, the Worktocloud Desktop will go to the previous project, okay? Registries every 10 or 20 minutes. Well, you can see if our system, our Worktocloud Desktop tracks every 10 minutes or every 20 minutes. If you think 10 minutes is too much because you don't need so many screenshots, you can leave it like this, okay? The only thing that affects is to the screenshot, because the rest of data and that the records will be bigger, but the date and time and everything is tracked in both ways exactly the same. Filters. Okay, here is for the weekly. If you set this like this, for example, you are telling the system to not add the time as long as there is at least 37% minimum of activity. Normally, this is for very strange scenarios. Normally leave it like this, okay? But in case you are in a situation where your workers need to be working, like typing a lot, writing a lot, and you are like, no, it's not acceptable. Activity less than 8%, because it's impossible. That I don't count it as worked time. Then you can set it. This percentage means to the Worktocloud index. Okay, it's hard to define, but check. if you want to use this setting, you should be checking and doing trial and error. But normally something like this will be okay. 100% is the average, okay? So if for example, if you put it like this, you are telling the worker that you will not account his time unless he's always over the average, okay? So which is almost impossible. But anyway, here you can set it however you want. These are the settings for the mobile phone, okay? We have 3 settings. We can allow geolocation or not allow. Imagine that you don't want to geolocate because the workers are always home and you only want to track the calls, then you would leave it like this. Or imagine the opposite scenario. You have people that is always delivering, but you don't need to call to get the calls because it's a personal phone, then you would leave it like this, okay? As you prefer. And this is for the comments. If you want the comments to auto reset and when they add a comment to put it back to nothing, or if you want to leave it that every registry, if they don't change the comment, you can see always the same comment. Okay, the registries of mobile are more shorter. Okay, so you can choose if you want every minute. This only makes sense if you have a person that is driving or security worker that is working around and you want to track exactly the path that he was doing. Otherwise, leave it like this because this is more battery intensive and this is less battery intensive, okay? GPS precision, if you the same than before, if you have workers that are moving around and you want to track them very exactly, you put high, but this will spend more battery. If it's completely irrelevant for you then put it as low, okay? And finally, we have registries without movement. Imagine that you have a person that is a salesman and maybe he 3 different clients in one morning and you don't need to get registries when he's in the office building of the client. So you click it, you leave it like this, and it would not track you would not get tracks for that time. You would get a track with all that time, okay? It's good because it saves battery, basically, all these things, and it's completely unnecessary. If one person is, for example, 5 hours in the same place, it's completely pointless to leave it like this because you will get a lot of records. That phone battery will be very punished, and it's not necessary, okay? And send push notifications. This is what if you allow him to receive push notifications, those, you remember in the first video we did we send a message, then he would receive them on the phone as push messages. Save time work from the mobile phone. Okay, maybe you don't want to save the time that the Worktocloud staff application is on. If that's the case, leave it like this. And force wake up. In order to avoid the Android applications to kill our app, we have to make this small trick. Okay, depending on the version, is not necessary, but just in case, this basically puts the app on focus and avoids the system to take it to sleep. And here you set how many minutes you want it to wake up. The less, something between 10 and 20 is acceptable. Okay. Right, then we finish with this already. Remember that if you don't click save, none of the settings are saved, and that's an effect. And now we go to the last, backend console settings and big data parameters. Okay, here we have the allow remote control play stop. If you do this, be very careful, okay? Normally don't use it. This is only for very, very specific scenarios, and I will describe them now. If not, always leave it like this. This is to if the worker I will make another video with the Worktocloud Desktop application. In this section also I will make the last one. Okay, if we leave it like this, schedule, and but I think it's getting too long. I think I will make another video with this section because it's also very dense, and I guess you might be tired of listening at me. So finish. I will end this video here. See you. Bye bye.